Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to part 6 of the Great Farm Cleanup. I'm finishing off the trip that was part 5. I've decided to split this particular episode into 2 videos. If you've seen part 5, we battled the heat, we battled the wind, we had a lot of stuff put on eBay. I've been working in the barn where I am now. So we'll pick this episode up now with it's a windy day, but it's not as hot. So I've been able to be fairly productive. I'm getting the van loaded because I'm heading back to Ngambie tomorrow. So I've been working hard on cleaning up the barn. I'll show you what I've been doing here. Plus also we've had a lot of machinery picked up today. It's been a pretty successful day. So the barn's getting more and more organised. I'm happy with this. There's just a bit of carpet here which is staying for now. I've got those Relics tables dismantled and in the van. I have had a guy from, where's he from? Down near Melbourne somewhere, that wants all these seats. He's going to rebuild them and I think he might sell them at markets or something. So he gets all those seats and backrests and frames for $100, and he also gets a couple of gangs of seats that are actually assembled, which are a slightly different style, but they're the same type of thing. They're early 1900s. They are rather difficult to sell. I've sold some of the good ones over the years, but we're happy to ditch these quickly. He's happy with the price, but he can't get here for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to hold them for him. We got rid of, there was an aluminium window which I managed to give away. The people picked that up yesterday, which was great. So there's not a lot left in the barn. There's a bit of wool that Dad has to get rid of. These big tables haven't sold. We're only after $20 each. There was a lady that was keen, but typical of Facebook, I never heard back from her. There's a bit more wool in the corner to get rid of. I've got a lot of empty boxes here and some old masonite and particle board and whatnot that'll probably just have to go on a bonfire. So there's not a lot left in the barn at the moment, which is pretty good. I'm happy with my productivity here. We have the trailer out the side here, which has a lot of stuff just to go to the scrap metal pile down the lane, which we will sell in one bulk lot when we're organised. So the spring wire bases, the spring wire sort of mesh from the old bed bases is on there. I can't get the end 2 bits of timber off, otherwise I would. I've tried before, they're just very difficult to get off. The old washing machine, all you scrappers will be pleased to know that I did take the electric motor out of it before I've consigned it to the scrap pile. We're starting to load the van up. It's a little windy out here. Hopefully we're okay. I forgot to put the little furry thing on my microphone again. That Laminex table is a project, and we've got the food safe in there, which I talked about in the last episode, and some timber. So let's have a look now at what's been picked up this morning. We had a bit of machinery picked up, and really nice guys, and it all went very well. First up was this old grain trailer. It's actually, I've mentioned it a few times, you've seen pictures of it before. It's a bulk top on an old Chevy truck chassis, and for whatever reason the truck was not worth continuing to use, so Dad took the cabin off, the engine off, the gearbox off, and basically left a towable trailer. So we only sold it for $100. The guy that bought it was a really nice bloke, and Mum and Dad were hoping that he'd get it. We probably would have got more for scrap metal, but it's not so much a matter of dollars. It's just nice to rehome things and give them another life. Now, Stephen, the guy that bought it, I believe is going to reuse the truck chassis because he actually has an old, probably 1930s or 40s Chevy truck. So he actually is going to use that for parts, and he also has a use for the bulk top. So he was rapt to win it so cheaply. He did have to hire that truck to come and pick it up, and he drove a couple of hours, so he had about 4 hours drive to pick it up. Luckily he had some ramps with him because we don't actually have a loading ramp, and Ross, the new owner of Mum and Dad's farm, is on the front end loader there. He's quite a skilled operator and did a great job. I think he just lifted the front with a couple of chains onto the bucket and basically pushed it up backwards, and a little bit tentative right at the end there, but I think it got on. It's got dual wheels on the back, so there was no danger of it falling off the ramps, and we got it back on after a little bit of juggling around. So that was good to see it go. It was much nicer doing this on a cooler day as well. It's a bit overcast, which makes it actually better for filming. And there we go. It transferred its weight onto the tray of the truck, and it was really nice to see it loaded well, and as I said, Stephen was very happy with his purchase. So that was great. It's always nice to see things go to a new home and people appreciate them for what they are. It's part of our history leaving, which has a tinge of sadness with it, and I'm sure it did for Dad as well. But you know, it's the end of an era. Nothing stays the same forever, and who knows where this truck chassis will end up in the future. It might be turned back into an early Chevy truck, which would be awesome. So I got that up pretty well. I won't continue here. You've seen the best of the loading here, but it all went really well. And there she goes. Goodbye. Have a good life. Off down the driveway. So the next item to load was this old tank. I believe it was probably a boiler. Early riveted tank. You've seen the pictures in the previous video, and it had been converted into a sort of a mini grain silo. And again, Ross with the front end loader was able to load it onto this guy's tandem trailer. It was pretty heavy actually, and again, I think we only got $50 for this, but you know, rather than just sell it for scrap, it's history. It's probably over 100 years old, and it's going to feature in a front yard of a small property. And you can't quite see it so well from that footage, but yeah, it's beautifully riveted. It's really well made. So we got that on the trailer pretty easily, and it was another piece of equipment to leave the farm and find itself a loving new home. So we'll just watch it loaded on here. It was no troubles with the weight. It's not heavy enough to trouble a tandem trailer, and I think it sat down really nicely between the sides of the trailer and a couple of straps over it, and it was good to go. This guy drove, I think he drove about an hour, probably, maybe a little bit less than an hour. So and this is something we did on eBay. This was actually spotted down the lane when he came to pick up something else. So a sale was a sale. We were happy to take his cash. He was happy to get a little keepsake for his property. It's all good. So the other pickup we had was the crane. This is the only footage I've got of it, but it towed about an hour away from home as well. And then we went out to another property that Dad's brother actually owns, and there's a bit of old machinery out here as well. So we gathered up some of these old harrows. I will be eBaying some of these in the next lot, and some of the damaged ones are going back to my shop. There's an old stand there from an overhead fuel tank. There's a couple more headers in the shed. They were only for parts. They'll most likely go to scrap metal. So Dad and I had a bit of a look around to see what else we could salvage out there. Everyone's waving. It's pretty warm, but not as hot as it was the other day. So we're off home until the next time over here. Happy enough with the week, actually. The 3 or 4 days, really productive. Got a lot of stuff ready. I've got all my photos done for the next eBay listings. The only disappointment, I think, is I didn't get the van very full. There's only about a third of a load, but I guess that lightens my workload when I get home, as I don't have to process and empty it all, because I do have to pick up a bit of furniture soon. So yeah, so that ends another little episode to the farm. 2.5 hours drive, I suppose. No, 3.5 hours drive home. I'll take it pretty slowly and drink a lot of coffee. And I'll see you when I get home to finish up this video. It's a couple of days later, guys. I am home. I had a good trip. We've been in the shop today. It's actually been a bit stormy today, which is kind of nice and refreshing. And you may hear in the background, I have a whole flock of magpies, and there's a few screechy corellas around. I think the birds just like being refreshed like the rest of us. Anyway, I made it back home fine. I have unpacked some of the van. A few boxes gone, but I haven't really unpacked much of it yet. I've got to find a spot for that food safe, or cool guardy safe as it's called, and also the Laminex table. I'll try and get onto those soon as projects, because I don't have room to store big stuff. Every time I go to the farm, I bring home more projects. So I guess I've got to get on and work harder. Hey, so thanks for watching, guys. Another video done and dusted. The next farm cleanup video will be part 7, and we will be running more stuff through eBay. So you've seen a few things I'm going to put on. I haven't showed you all of them. So I'll run through the photos first. We'll watch the auctions finish. Hopefully they go well for us. That'll be the next episode. We'll catch you soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.